welcome to this series where I take Classic The Rock from 2021 and try to throw it against the field of decks that you will probably see at your local scene as well. So stay tuned and watch some The Rock. Okay, so into this first round of The Rock, we will see me on the left with The Rock and Jesper, who you might know from the Epic round that were released, was it half a year ago or something? A year ago maybe? But great player and kind of a pillar in the Danish pre-modern scene, and the one who introduced me to most of the guys I'm playing with today. But he's on elves. He used to be on replenish, and now he's on elves. So something wins through combat damage and has a combo in it kind of player. I of course use my great skills here to use Cabal Therapy, naming survival, and got a hit. If you see a Llanowar elves or Findhorn on turn 1, just instantly go for the survival because they will steamroll you if you don't pick that off of their hand soon enough. And there's a priest and a swing for 1. So kind of a slow start here. That therapy was indeed pretty nice. 2 mana, Wall of Blossoms, so stopping the attack here. I don't know what the role of the Rock really is in this matchup, except that you just want to hit the survival stuff from happening. But stopping an attack or two is nice with a wall. And I thought I had tested this setup here, but there is some glare. I'm sorry about that. It was a Priest of Titania. He swings, and I block one of the guys, and I take 1. He goes to fetch and plays down the... I just uploaded a game from Nationals where I also faced off this Tangle Wire stuff, but that is really a hateful card against a mid-range deck. I cycle a Cycling Land, Barrenmore, and place down a Treetop and passes a turn. And then I leave the table. And Jesper's just still shuffling. And this is a friendly tournament, kind of low-key, so we will have some take-backs and some, well, trust in this shuffling, although we also cut the decks. And he swings. I cannot block. I go back and take 2 on 16. And ship's turn. Now I have to tap 3 things here. So figuring out, do I need black or green mana here? Black or green mana. Do I have some removal or some discard, or do I need to play a wall? Because that's probably what I do have the mana for. Okay, so before I have to tap, I use my mana on Smother, killing the priest and a Treetop. Okay, so down to 2 counters. So at least now I can get to swing, but he does have cards in hand. I don't know what they are, but elves just wants to slam. So if he keeps lands or cards in hand, I wonder what that could be. So thinking a little here, dropping a land. I'm not concerned with that. Tangle Wire, I am concerned with that. So now there are 6 counters and I have 5 permanents, so that's at least 2 turns where I'm kind of out of the game. Tap, 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 draw, maybe a land drop here. I don't remember. Do I have a land drop? I'm just looking at cards in hand. I'm moving lands around, so that usually tells me, yeah, that is a land drop. So putting down a forest next turn. There are 4 counters in total on those pesky tangle wires. Flashback, taking the bear, and there's an anger. And he doesn't have the mana to pay for that. So he is kind of stuck, but I am too. And elves can get out of this quite quickly. If he gets a survival of the fittest here, that's a huge problem for me, because he can play it, activate it, discard anger, find squee, and then he's set up for the next turn and onwards. He swings. I'm all the way down to 14 life here. The slowest kill maybe from an elves player. I was just asking what about the signature. Jesper could tell us down below, because I maybe I forgot, but it was from a Premodern player at least, not from the artist of the art there. Okay, tapping lands, passing the turn here. Next turn I might have a play, but this is the problem with Classic the Rock. The mana curve is so extreme. It's extreme on the 4-drops, almost like Replenish, but you don't play any soul lands as Replenish does, so it's just slow. But when you get rolling, it's difficult to handle. And we'll see that in the later games, that a 5/5 beast with Shroud is a problem, and I think that more people should play those beasts. Here he gets the survival down, discarding, finding Scree probably to get the train going. Yeah, finds Scree, discarding Scree, takes some shortcuts here because we are playing IOL, so if you want to fetch more cards, and you can see I'm tapped out, I have a green mana open, I'm the rock, you know that I have nothing to do here. Please do take some shortcuts. At least that's my opinion here. But yeah, the glare sucks a little bit. But we're sitting right next to a huge window here, so not much to do. Duress, just to see what's going on. I know that there's not anything there. Maybe another survival, he could have drawn that, but nope. Wall, trying to find maybe a deed here. Could set back the elves player, but Cabal is a problem, and he will have the mana for that sooner than later. And he does have haste on his stuff, so finding a priest maybe will make him drop Cabal. And he can also find a symbiote to start drawing stuff with that acolyte. But yeah, elves is a difficult deck to play, and I would probably not win a single match in my first 20 games with it. But if you like searching your deck for stuff, it's a perfect deck to play, I guess. Finding a priest, playing out the priest. And here I'm just watching Jesper do stuff, and I know that he's a seasoned elves player, so I just trust that he doesn't break any rules here, that these are all actions that you can take as an elves player. And now I guess he's done shuffling. Maybe I'll have a turn, maybe I won't. But he could have set up the kill here. Don't know if he had enough mana though. Tapping for some green stuff. He did play out the symbiote, so untaps. Taps again. 6 mana. Or 5. So discarding Cabal. Not going for that overrun effect. And it looks like there's squirrels on the battlefield now, so this is horrendous. And these have haste, so I'm almost dead here. Almost dead. But I do have a wall. Pointing at my wall, this wall might matter. Yeah, and here he finds his nice scroll tokens that he made himself, just with a pencil. And maybe he swings. Counting, do I have the kill here? Not quite. Not quite, but almost. So Ranger, Priest. Okay, so he returns an elf to play down a 2/2 to draw a card, to have more power on the field. But is it enough? I guess math is for blockers, and I'm the one who's going to do a block here, so I guess it's up to me to to not die. He can play down an elf, which has haste. And he swings, goes for it, but he doesn't get it. I am at 3 life, so a 1/1 wouldn't have mattered. Next turn I'm probably toast. Tapping down Treetop for the Tangle Wire, and do I have a deed? Just to prolong the game here. A deed would be nice, because he would be stuck with a 1/1. And I could block that afterwards. Yeah, okay, so deed for 2, popping right away. But elves is elves, so he does have something that he can do. Returns. Don't know why he returned that though, because it wouldn't die to the deed. Although he wouldn't have mana for the echo. He will be able to drop down a forest and just kill me with those hastes, so that is game 1. If you are playing MTGO or Magic the Gathering online and are using a rental service, or if you want to do that, I have a link in the description for a referral and a coupon code which makes you get 30% off on your next subscription. So consider that, and onto the video. Now for the second game here. In my sideboard, I tried to go without Engineered Plague. Maybe it's a mistake, but my thought process was that this exact matchup here, which I thought would happen, I think that he might bought into a lot of Naturalize effects with the Nantukos and Naturalize itself, and there aren't really any good targets for those, and he might just have kept a hand with those effects that doesn't do anything. So I'm playing a Plague Spitter, or 4 Plague Spitters instead. He starts with a Llanowar elf, or sort of a Llanowar elf, and I just smothered right away. I don't want him to play survival turn 2 and activated it instantly, and that is why I smothered it, although he could have other nice targets for it, like this priest, for example. So playing down a priest, which is right now just an expensive Llanowar elf, 3 mana, and here it is. It's a Plague Spitter. He doesn't have many outs to this one, so will probably be a slow death for him, but we'll see. He goes to draw. We have seen in his hand a survival. He can play out some maybe 1/1 elves, which are sort of free here, and play down that survival as well, and getting an activation. I haven't seen any lands in his hand. Maybe Cradle would be quite potent here. So he can do some explosive stuff, but during my or when it's my upkeep, all his one toughness creatures will die. That is probably why he's taking so long to figure out what line he has to take. Okay, so he plays a forest. And sort of touches them, and then, okay, then there is a survival. Do have a survival in play, and a ton of glare. But what will he do with it? Maybe he was surprised with the Plague Spitter here. Okay, ships the turn. And the elf dies. Doesn't tutor. What did he? Okay, yeah, he tapped it. So discarding an insect here and a symbiote, and finding something. Finding Squee. Okay, so finds Squee. Doesn't ship it right away, so letting me do some actions before having information about Squee. He showed me that he cut the deck, so well, it doesn't matter here. He is presenting the deck, and here is a Naturalize. So now I'm forcing him to use the Squee. So might as well shuffle up once more instead of me cutting it and then he can find something. But tutoring for Masticore. Okay, Masticore is a heck of a magic card here. Really, really strong, and can ping my Plague Spitter, of course. So when he gets to 4 mana, maybe next turn, he can just ping my Plague Spitter in my turn because it already has 1 damage on it. But he will, if he puts it in play during his turn, it will come down naked, sort of. So saying that he, okay, doesn't matter. Okay, good old waiting for him to shuffle up and then just pick it out of his hand. I guess correctly, he has Cabal and 2 lands. This game looks rough now for Jesper. Playing down a Wooded Foothills and shipping the turn here. We take 1 damage each. And I go to my draw. And having 4 mana in this deck is nice. But should I just attack with Treetop here and leave cards in hand, or should I develop the board? He is at a high life total, so I think developing here is the play. No, it's not. Swing for 5. That is a clock here. Fetching. End of turn. Maybe, yeah, he's searching for that 1 mountain in his deck. But what will he do? That will he just play out Squee? It will be killed during my upkeep, so it doesn't really matter. So it can't like function as a blocker. It is just a 1/1 goblin. But let's see what he will do with it. Two mana to draw a card, and playing a 1 toughness elf down is not the best thing Jesper can do here, but sort of necessary to find an answer for this. Cabal is an answer. Cabal is a huge body and has a relevant text. So there's that. Very relevant text, I would say. Playing down the Cradle here. Not afraid of Dust Bowl, it seems. Okay, we take 1. The Acolyte dies. And what then? Okay, I swing. And this is looking rough here. Can he do anything about it? Is there an out that I cannot see? If he finds a way to get anger into the graveyard, he can have a super explosive turn, given that he has the right creatures. But he chooses to fetch for forest because there are no mountains left. And then what? He has 5 mana and taps it all, just packing it up. And that is game 2 for the rock here. Okay, the jig is up. Jesper knows what's going on here and that I don't have Engineered Plague, but are running those plague spitters. So there is some kind of plague, but him knowing that might have been, well, good for him now, because he changed his sideboard for this 3rd match. I don't know how he sideboarded, but maybe removing some enchantment hate because it's irrelevant, and maybe putting in some more cards that are actually relevant. I'm not an elves player, but if you are, you might know what Jesper would have done differently. And here, Jesper has upgraded a ton here, but a beta Llanowar Elves is a nice addition to an elves deck. And he is one of those guys who, or players, who sort of sticks with one deck and just pimps it out, makes it his own version over time, and he has some, not alters, but signed cards in there as well. And I think that is cool. I do like personalized decks like that. But I have no clue what the top card here is. It's super glary. Maybe a priest. Maybe it does have a signature of sorts. I'm so, well, angry at myself maybe because I tested this setup, but I probably didn't test it in sunlight. A wall here and a furnace. Furnace is a nice answer against squee, or survival in general, if I get to remove the squee. And use the draw effect from it. It has been a very effective card. So here, survival. Survival resolves, and he ships the turn back to me. So now I just need to not tab out here. I should not tab out, because then he will get screen his upkeep if he manages to discard something before, which he will. He will use 1 mana to find screen, and then there is a creature on the bottom. Oh wait, here I go for Baloth, but I can respond. I have mana from my wall. I can respond in his upkeep, but he had screen hand, so discarding screen in my end step. Discarding squee in my end step here. And this is where a blunder from my part, at least, is shown. I forget to remove it, but this is just a get together with friends, so I get to take that back. Jesper even asked me, are you sure you're not going to remove this? And I was like, yeah, of course I will remove it. Thanks for reminding me what my own cards does. In a tournament setting, he would probably have been as nice. He is a nice guy, but if there was something on the line, maybe if it was like win it and then you're into top 8, he would probably not have let that go. But I forgot. And he is, again, he's thinking about what line he can take, knowing that his squee will be gone. There are many lines to take against the rock, but probably cards like Masticore and Hermit, like Deranged Hermit, and those big fellas, Cabal, are what you are aiming towards, because he knows about the deed, which is like the reason to play rock. Okay, he goes for a sort of a mana accelerant here, Granger. Or Ranger. Is it Granger or Ranger? And here he presents his deck. I say it's fine, and he returns squee in his upkeep. And now I'm like, no, there's something going on. And he asks, okay, you can get to remove that if you want to. Okay, it was a priest. Morph. Yeah, and now we are just discussing, hey, I think I missed the opportunity to do this. Can you please remove it? And then you are a nice guy, and Jesper's like, yes, I am a nice guy, and then he gets rid of it. And it matters, of course. Of course it matters. It's part of the survival engine, and it's a bummer that he has to get rid of it already. But and he reminds me, you need to tap this. You cannot just remove it. I could have gone for the play where I used the mana for the draw effect, the cycle effect, because I don't think the card matters anymore. One squee is out, then what? Maybe Genesis? Maybe a Genesis. Okay, tapping stuff here. And floating some mana. 6 mana floating. And what is the mana cost of this Cabal here? It's 6, so he can just play it outright. And he does so, which is dangerous. With the amount of mana that he has already, he can use the overrun effects and just ignore that I have a Baloth in play and just swing. So I need a way to get rid of it. Or at least get rid of most of his mana accelerants. So a Treetop, not doing anything right now. Not relevant at all. It's just a tap land here. A tapped green source, which can't be wastelanded. Of course, it's not relevant in this matchup here. Therapy. And I'm not spoiling anything by saying that my therapies were amazing in this small tournament here. You saw before in game 2 that I used it for Mastercore, but I knew that there was a Mastercore. What would you call in this situation here? I think I might call like survival or similar, but he doesn't have Mastercore in hand. I know that. But whatever I call, I can just sack and... okay, he has this bear guy, this Call of the Claw. Didn't mention the right card, but... yeah, he just plays it out. More power to swing next turn. And it's an elf, so it matters. And then what? Do I have the decree? Do I start counting stuff. I don't think I should attack here. I should just leave it as a blocker. But my old self disagrees, maybe? No. Not tapping it. Not going for the swing. Man, I wish I was better at just showing to the camera what was in my hand, what is in my hand at certain situations where I go to think about what I should do, what's the optimal play, because then some of you might put down a comment below on what I should have done. So I as well, or I too, can become a better player, because I'm not by any means a good player. Taking one here to have black mana, I get rid of the priest. And he reads Smother. It doesn't have anything to do with power, so he could have untapped and maybe pumped with Cabal, but wouldn't have done anything. This Smother is about mana cost, or mana value, it is now. Mana value 3 or less. So like, are you a Terror, you're done. Quite effective removal spell in this format. Dreadnought done. Okay, one card in hand. And a lot of options for him, because he does have the survival. He can find anger, discard it, find priest, play it. It having haste means that he can do a massive attack, a massive swing. He does none of those things, but he sends the turn over to me. What about now? Do I have a way to get rid of his stuff now? Deed is, of course, the best thing I could have here. Using Wall of Roots, flashback on therapy. I'm not sure why. It's just the Llanowar elf. So keeping cards in hand for him to maybe pitch. And here is Decree. For 2. Decree, pop it for 2. And I might have underestimated the power of Cabal here. But you'll see. If you know, you know. But let's see what's up his sleeve. What Jesper can do here. Because I might not be that experienced against elves, but I would never have guessed that you were able to do this. He taps, adding mana, untapping. And I was not sure what his plan was here. But he uses 2 floating mana, 3, 4 mana. To animate my lands with Cabal. So Decree, or no, Pernicious Deed just kills them. They are creatures, they will be gone. And now this looks super rough here. This looks very rough. He discards to pitch to survival and finds something. I'm not sure what he can do here. Just him having a board and me having no lands, this is almost game over. I remember being so, well, maybe pissed at myself because I didn't see the line and haven't had Cabal in play on my side of the playing area in Premodern like ever. So I should just read the cards. Usually, you only see them pumping, but they can animate your lands as well. So he finds a priest. Everything is leaving the table here except my Baloth and 2 of his forests and his Call of the Claw and his Cabal. Not looking good here. And I ship the turn over. He plays out the priest. And it's my turn. And I had a land here. But he just needs to pump it. Like, just a little bit. Two mana to draw with the Acolytes. But what will he do here? Well, he adds a bunch of mana. He finds a creature from a draw that he had, where he can just find any basic land, put it into play tapped. He finds a mountain. Not sure it matters now, but it might matter later. And he does have enough green mana from those forests here. And then he shuffles up, ships a turn here, and we do go to time. We do go to time, and it's not just straight to draw. We of course have 5 turns here. Can he kill me in those turns? I shipped the turn back, didn't draw a land, so not much action here from my side of the table, but from his side there are actions to be taken. But will it be enough for him to secure the game here? That is the question. Cradle will certainly be one way to take down this game because he does have that Cabal in play. One of those totally flashy cards on top with a lot of glare are Cabal, and he does have this overrun effects, and he pumps and swings with 1, 2, 3, 4, so everything at me. One of the priest didn't attack because it added mana for Echo, but he did it. He took me down 2-1, and that is game against elves, 2-1 for the elf player.